Hey, you guys, this is Courtney Camaro. I'm outside of Muhammad Ali's real original home. We're in Chicago, and I wanted to shout out Al's Botanics and Herbs. Man, when I tell you, I am one of those people that has insomnia. I can't sleep. I can't focus on some days because I'm so sleep deprived, and this has helped. This is one of the mixtures he has that helps with sleep.
What's going on, D Scott? What's going on? Salute to you. We're gonna be talking about today. I gotta edit this. I gotta change this title. Uh, Give me just a sec. I gotta edit this video title. Uh, am I able to do that? Wait, hold on. I gotta go to StreamYard. StreamYard. Oh man. The reading is fundamental. And then I ain't even. All right. Alrighty. So the title today is Black Women Are the Least Married Because of Black Men. Okay. It's always Jermaine's fault, basically. This is a topic that I saw this on Twitter, and it's been circulating back and forth. And because Black women are the least married, they have to have someone to blame. So they blame Black men. We're gonna look at a series of videos of them explaining their struggle, and we're gonna talk about it. I normally don't. I've been trying to stay away from relationship conversations, but I saw this topic on Twitter, and I just was like, you know what? Let's break this down. Let's do a video on this because this is obviously comedy. I mean, this is just entertainment. Grab some popcorn, get you a It's too late for Coke. I don't know, get some juice and some popcorn. We're gonna take a look at this observations of Black women talking about why they're not married. Okay. So let me start off. Let me cue it up. Let's start off with this one here.
Message is for my white women, my snow bunnies. What are y'all doing to get these men to marry y'all? And y'all getting these millionaires and then y'all suing them and becoming multi-millionaires. Like,
I can tell you, as a man that dips in the snow, and I actually started off dipping in the snow. Um, Basically they're not really, and I got this from Southern women too, like women from like down south. They don't say no too much. They're customer service, basically is different when it comes to white women and Black women. Okay. I actually, it's actually opposite, right? Like Black women treat white men better as far as just customer service. And customer service is everything. I mean, like people think customer service just got something to do with business. You don't have the slightest clue. Customer service can literally Customer service is the difference between you getting a job, you not getting a job, you having a successful running thriving business, or you not having a successful thriving business. And another thing is customer service is also like how you can actually maintain a long lasting healthy relationship. Customer service, like people just actually, people miss the whole point in the idea of customer service. Like okay, it's not too many things like white women just don't really say no like that. And a lot of women down south, they don't really like to tell their man no. You know, they like to basically be accommodating, right? Because that's somebody that is you trying to be with. You want to be with this person. You want to accommodate them. You want to be accommodating. White women are just traditionally more accommodating than black women. Like they actually go out their way, they actually care. Um, and what I find as far as even just going into a store or something like that, um, black women, they go out of their way for white men. As far as what I've seen, they go out of their way to please white men, and they treat brothers or black men, I'll just say, they treat them like shit. You know, so much so. This just happened. Honest to God story. And it ain't just because it was a black woman, but I just interacting with people. I just, it depends on the situation. Usually, like it'll be an open lane with the cashier at the grocery store. I'll take a beeline and just go right to the kiosk because I just, I don't want to deal with no awkward interactions. I was having a good day, and I don't want negative interaction, so I just go to the kiosk, and problem solved. So the thing is that basically it's behavior. It's hands down behavior, and that behavior is a certain level of accommodation, submissiveness, and that goes along with sex. Like they damn near do everything. The first time, I ain't gonna lie, the first time I ever got I'll just say, my golf balls licked, it was a white woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even ask. I didn't even know that's what that was like. I like that more than what I'm saying, actual head. And it's like, damn, it's just being accommodating, like being very, very going out of your way. And I'm not to say that black women have not done that. I've gotten that treatment with black women as well, but not that many. Very, 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 I would say kind of rare. You know what I'm saying? You say, how about because black men find black women to be unsufferably disgusting? This is interesting coming from somebody that doesn't have any photo on their account. Like, how do we know how you look? Like, I mean, this is kind of suspect. You know what I'm saying? You know, are you a black man or a other man? Because you sound like a other man. But I mean, I do get you. It is some black women that are insufferably, in the words that you state, unsufferably disgusting. Black women that basically dance to Glorilla songs about abortions. That is utterly disgusting to me, I will say. But yeah, I mean, I guess some black men do find black women utterly disgusting. I guess I would, to be honest about it. But it's more to it than that. It's just behavior, and it's not just behavior, but behavior is definitely part of it.
Like, help me out. I ain't no hater. I'm a congratulator. Help me. How are y'all getting these men to marry y'all? Because I don't have no kids. I'm fit. I'm cute as a button. I'm submissive. I cooperate. I'm not mouthy. I'm supportive. I'm not the type of woman that, you got to take me to the 5-star restaurant. You got to make 6 figures. I'm good with 70,000. I mean, I go to the gym.
Here's the thing about, this is primarily a financial channel, but I deal with social issues too. But the tripped out thing about 70,000. I mean, on social media, everybody makes 100K, right? Or they make close to 100K. Everybody on social media, right? $70,000. It's not that many even black men that make $70,000. Like a lot of black women spew out numbers because it is some black women, and I will say black women like herself that look really good, that's above a 5 in the face, maybe have some assets. They do make money almost effortlessly. I will admit, I've seen black women make money almost effortlessly. They're good at making money, I would even say. Um, to the point where like they don't really understand the percentages of earnings. They don't understand how much black men actually make. Okay. Um, so we gotta educate her on the reality of black men and income statistics. All right. So the median annual income for black men working full time is about $53,000 a year, which is lower than the 66,000 median for all U.S. men. The black men that earn about 74.6% of the median weekly earnings of white men. We earn less than white men. That's not surprising. Okay, they own the companies. They give preference to their white brethren, right? So they earn more, right? While 54% of black men earn 50,000 or more, significant wealth and earnings gaps persist. All right, so income distribution. 54% of black men earn $50,000 or more, while only 28% earn $75,000 or more. So it's you talking about 28% of black men, less than 30% of black men that earn $75,000 or more. Okay. So it's not so you talking about, and then you talking about 28%. So 28% out of those black men, how many of those men are probably married? You can say it's safe to say probably close to half of these men are already married and they're not really into polygamy. So they're, now you talking maybe what, 15%, 10%, so you don't even know what you really talking about, really. Like you don't really like you don't know the market because you don't really have to know the market. I mean, in the words of BGS Sitmore and a lot of older black men, a lot of black women having to compete with other races of women for men is a new concept. This concept is less than 50 years old. They didn't like their grandmas, they didn't have to compete for black men. They already had them because black men had nowhere else to go. They couldn't go anywhere. If you definitely dated white women, you 50, 60 years ago, you could be lynched. You could basically die. So they had secret relationships. They had relationships up north and stuff like that, but it was not widespread like it is now or common. This is a new concept. So they basically, white men always pretty much kind of to a certain extent had access to black women, but black men didn't have access to other women like white women, or everybody pretty much was segregated. Okay. And okay, black women could get with white men, but the opposite was not true. Black men pretty much were stuck, and had to deal with just black women, or secretively have relationships with other non-black women in secret. So they didn't really have to compete, and they do have to compete now, and they're not I think this woman is being comedic, but she does make a point. She makes a point at the same time. So let's play this again here.
I clean. I let them touch my nasty parts. I mean, what are y'all doing? Y'all need a class to help me. I'm not afraid to say I need some help with white women. I'm not afraid to say. What are y'all doing? Because y'all getting these men to marry y'all. And y'all are being married. Y'all don't got that many baby daddies. Okay, cool. Help me. DM me. DM me, fellas.
Well, that's because they go to get abortions. And they got more than enough money to go get abortions. I mean, yeah.
DM me and let me know what else can I do to find my husband. Because, I mean, I don't know what else that I can do. Like, I make him lunch. I mean, what? I cook like 4 times a week. I give up my nasty parts. I wear lingerie. I mean,
You get with the wrong dude. 9 times out of 10, because see, the dad chose the partner, like, for the most part. Like, basically, before homes became more fatherless, the woman would choose the dude that she wanted to be with, but he had to meet her dad. The dad had to get approval, or he was going to say, I don't want you seeing that guy because of XYZ. Or he stood on business so much so he didn't even give it a reason. He just said, don't deal with that guy no more. I don't like him. Don't deal with him anymore. If you want to deal with him, leave this house. I'm giving you an ultimatum. And it's like, the fathers knew what was best for their daughters. And I know I keep saying this damn near every live stream, but it's a valid point, because basically, if you do have a father, you should choose to talk to your father to vet men for you, and really, really take that shit serious, because men know other men. Men can smell the bullshit. They can smell the bullshit from a mile away from other men, and they know they not, genuinely, they putting on some type of act or game to hustle you out your pussy. And it's like, you dealing with men that's pussy hustlers. I mean, trust me, I ain't nothing but I ain't nothing but an old pussy hustler myself. So it takes one to know one. But that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a long line of pussy hustlers, and your father saw these men coming a mile away, and he told you, I don't like this dude. And then if he met somebody he liked, he trying to get him a job at his firm or his job or his business. He liked the guy, y'all, had a, what happens usually after that? You have a long lasting, fulfilling relationship with that guy. The father-in-law likes the husband. He comes over, they might go fishing. They might talk for a little bit when he comes over. It's more of a wholesome relationship, and you're not single. Now you trying to make the decision all by yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, like some women are able to do that. They're able to pick their own man and it works out. I'll even say it works out great. But most women do not know how to pick no goddamn man. They fall for the cutest guy they can get, and then they get hustled out of their pussy. It's the same. It's been going on for quite a long time. I mean, you got you got a wet back. You came about 2 or 3 times. You might even be pregnant, but you have no man. You have no man in the sense of a long-term relationship. You having a family together, a cohesive relationship. You don't have that because you don't know how to vet and pick men.
I don't have a problem with getting them. I'm just having a problem with them not wanting to get married. Can y'all white snow bunnies help me out?
So yeah, I mean, valid point, valid point, but the men basically are already telling you, but you don't want to listen to us. We're dusty and we want to go 50-50 or whatever. And this shit always kills me with this whole 50-50 shit, right? 50-50 is a European invention. It's called Dutch, motherfucker. It's a European invention. White men came up with 50-50. Motherfuckers act like black men came up with 50-50. No, we ain't come up with 50-50. That's a fucking European invention. I mean, it's called Dutch, literally Dutch. Hey, babe, you want to go Dutch? Cool. Yeah, we can go Dutch. I split the bill, you split the bill. So, yeah, New Amsterdam, New Dutch, New Deutschland. So yeah, let's see here. Let's move this along. Let's continue this on. Let's hear what they talking about. Let's see what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? All right.
White girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women? I know y'all not gonna like what I gotta say, but you know me, I'm gonna say it anyways. First and foremost, black women are above reproach. If it don't validate us or excuse our bad behavior, we don't want to hear it. Instead, we'll say, well, men do it too. Secondly, we'll find every excuse in the world to validate why we don't want to be married or why we don't want to be in a relationship. Well, they get cheated on. Well, they do this. Well, they do that. But then we have all these standards for men, and we're still actively seeking for men in the midst of our hurt while inadvertently telling them to go to therapy. We do not practice what we preach. Thirdly, the independent woman is a myth. Actually cared about being independent and it was something that made you happy, you would not have all these standards to negate your independence. Nobody wants to relinquish power. We'll find every excuse in the world to not be submissive and wonder why white women can get away with their bad behavior. We take everything bad from white women, except for the fact using marriage to our own benefit. But you'll run to the child support office, though. Equality against men, and the only time we actually want to be equal to men is when it comes to degenerate behavior, hypersexuality, abusing or abandoning children. Even when it comes to the gold digger conversation, what you don't see those other women do, even when they are just screwing men for money, is bashing men, inadvertently making men feel like they're not important. Also, too, telling them that they don't need men. Psychologically, we have been taught to disassociate ourselves, and even in that Malcolm X quote where he says the black woman is the most disrespected, he also says to be near your man. Because who taught you to hate the very race that you're supposed to be with?
I ain't had to stop. I ain't even had to stop. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Straight cooking. Straight light a match, flame on. No rebuts. I mean, just like it is. Okay. Very, very much on point with that one. So let's go to, let's see here. Let's let's kind of mix it up with let's put a man in here.
Time ponder this question. The reason why a lot of our beautiful, educated, wonderful sisters are not married. And it dawned on to me that maybe it's the lack of respect of the men in their community that are not married. Every other race I've noticed, Hispanics, Cubans, Chinese, Laotians, the women in their communities respect them. Even the ones that are low down and dirty, they're respected. They don't have think pieces about them all day and bashing them. When ladies try to go over there, you have to respect their masculinity. Respect the patriarchy in them. Since our community redefined on what masculinity is and want to be ruled under a matriarchy, is that the reason why a lot of them are not married? I pause this question at times. What's going to solve the gap and the statistics of why a lot of black women are not married? Help me.
Message.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you are a black woman and you know you have a good black man at home, you need to do what it takes to keep that black man. Because let me tell you something, there are not a lot of available good black men out here that are still interested in dating black women. So let me just hit you with some facts. Naturally, there are just more women on this earth than men, okay? We are outnumbering them. So then there's a large percentage of those black men that are incarcerated. There's another...
That old trope, that old they incarcerated trope, that shit go back to the 90s, back in Ricky Lake and Oprah Winfrey. I dropped the link if anybody wants to come up and discuss this personally. They got some input on here. I got dropped the link. But yeah, that's old. That shit go back to me being a teenager.
Percentage of those men that are just into men. It's just the world that we live in. There's another percentage of those men that are already taken and married, and a lot of them are not marrying the black women. So when you do come across a black...
It's not a lot. It's like less than 20% of black men that go with white women or other races of women.
Man that is single and good and actually willing to date a black woman, how do you ensure that he is actually desiring you and wants to commit to you? Okay, here's another fact. The number of black men who are marrying outside of their race has drastically increased, which simply just means they are not picking us. And that is a big concern for me. So you got to ask yourself, what is it about you that makes us less desirable? That is what we have to figure out, because the men do desire to be in a relationship. They're getting married and they're outnumbering us in marriages. They're just not picking us. So it's time to really figure out, how can I be different? What do I need to switch?
80% of black women are chosen by other black men to marry them. Over 80%. You know, it's like they need to remake Michael Jackson's song. Needs to be a woman to remake Michael Jackson's song, Woman in the Mirror. Woman in the Mirror.
Up to really get what I truly desire from this black man. Let's talk about it in the comments.
That woman in the mirror, amen. Like, it's the woman in the fucking mirror. That's the problem.
They're so terrible. Why do other races of women want them? I promise you, if black men were so terrible, these other races of women would not be desiring them.
Message.
There would not be whole schools and classes on black culture that other races of women are taking to learn more about how to attract black men. No, the issue isn't the black men, but the good ones y'all don't want. Y'all don't like the nice guys. A lot of you women, you black women, y'all are just as...
He corny. He lame.
undesirable. Y'all are so busy getting on these podcasts talking about how nobody wants black men, when in actuality nobody's telling you this, but nobody really wants black women like that. Because a lot of you black women, y'all have a complex. Y'all think that giving a black man your worst and seeing how much a black man takes of your nonsense is his way of showing love. Y'all like to test men to see, oh, what can I do that's showing out and that shows how much he loves me. That is the biggest load of crap ever. Y'all are determinants of your own results. It's not nobody's fault that you don't like the good black man. It's nobody's fault that you like the bad boys. And
then here's the thing, right? I think the chick, she copyrighted or like sent me a copyright strike, or I don't know, YouTube did it, but that chick, that fine chick that got married, they got divorced. She had got divorced or whatever. She basically did a video. And it was a real life, authentic video. Like, it wasn't made up. She did a real video on how she starts an argument, with her husband. She literally started an argument about something that was 4 or 5 years ago. YouTube does that, copyright stuff, but Facebook, you could damn near put anything on Facebook. They're not gonna trip on it, you know what I'm saying? So I still got it on Facebook. So let's play this here. Show you how, just like what she's saying. She ain't saying nothing wrong, fucking around, trying to mess up a healthy relationship, just doing stupid shit.
I started my cycle and I've been craving an argument with my husband. The house was pretty peaceful, so I figured I'd make the argument from scratch. I waited until I heard him enjoying himself and thought it was the perfect time to bring up an argument from 4 years ago. I know we already talked through it, but I denied that and instead exaggerated the details of the story. Unfortunately, he said the right things, so I decided to turn up the heat. I asked him if I was a worm, if he would still love me. I didn't like his facial expression, so I registered that as him not loving me as a worm. I now have the perfect reason to cry myself to sleep tonight, in which I'll store in the fridge for later.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide, how much do we want to find out? So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. Now there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Today I started my cycle and I've been craving an argument.
Certain types of men, and then you're getting mad at the results. But the funny thing is, you really walking around thinking that these other people want you. You should be grateful that black men still want you, because y'all are disrespectful. Y'all are always getting on this internet talking crap, and like I said, other races want our men. So I don't know what y'all need to do. Y'all need to be looking within and figuring out what's wrong with you, as opposed to always blaming it on black men. Because
so you want to know why a lot of black women are single and why only 27% of black women, I did my research last night, it's now 27%, as to why only 27% of black women are getting married nowadays? Because they're too busy giving the black man what they think and feel he deserves instead of giving the black man what he wants. Black men have been saying since the beginning of the time, loudly, I don't want a woman who wears a whole bunch of weave. Modern black men are now saying, I'm tired of y'all wearing the fake eyelashes. I'm tired of all the makeup. I'm tired of the bust down lace front wigs with the swoops in the front that look crazy. I'm tired of y'all not going to the gym. I'm tired of y'all making excuses for not going to the gym, being overweight. I'm tired of y'all being argumentative. I'm tired of y'all not cooperating. They have literally been screaming at the top of their lungs. And black women are still doing whatever they want to do, saying, "Oh, even though you said you wanted all these things, nah, I'm not going to give you all those things. I'm going to give you what I feel as though you deserve." So this package here, that's not cooperative, that's overweight, that talks back, that has the weave and bust down lace front wigs, I'm going to give you this instead, and you just need to accept it. Black men are tired, y'all. I'm going to need y'all to get together.
They ain't gonna listen. They don't get no shit. They don't care. They don't care. Oh, let's move along. Let's move it along there. This is the dating coach, female dating coach. Forgot her name. But this is her.
I think the challenge is that women are having, black women in particular, when it becomes to becoming a wife.
Keeping it 100,
Yes.
there's not enough eligible black males who fit the needs of black women. By the time you dissect the demographics of finances, sexual orientation, what you end up drilling down into, because black women tend to want to marry black men.
Right.
So black women
Same 1990s talking point.
are excelling. They're getting accelerated degrees, graduate degrees, doctorate degrees. They're starting businesses. Black women are running circles around men.
Right.
And it's
No, they're not. They crying in their car, homeless, naked and afraid, single as a doorknob, worrying about how they gonna pay the rent, the mortgage. I mean, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would expect more from her because she actually knows what's going on. She's dealt with, she's basically a matchmaker, a female matchmaker. She's not just a dating coach. She's a matchmaker. You know, that's more involved. Yeah, Rebecca Lynn Pope. You got it. Thank you. Rebecca Lynn Pope. So she knows what's going on. And she's even said it. She damn near cried on YouTube talking about what's going on. The black women that she was trying to help, she had to give up because their standards was way too high, and it was literally higher than even her standards for a beautiful woman like her that, you know, has stuff going on or whatever. The standards that the clients she had was higher than hers. She's wishy-washy. You know, she's very, very wishy-washy. But she basically gave up on being a matchmaker because the black women that she was dealing with, their standards was way too high, and they weren't you know, they had really bad behaviors. No man wants to be with them. Not even other women want to be with them. Not even their women friends, she said, want to be with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's, again, it's a lot of this is behavior. It's behaviors. It's not really, I would say the heart of it is behaviors, because Hispanic men earn less than black men, I believe. They might have, if my statistics serve me correctly, Hispanic men make less than black men, or they make more slightly, something to that degree, and they get more respect from their women than black men get respect from their women. So it has nothing. It's nothing. If a bunch of brothers just became millionaires overnight, if all black men became millionaires overnight, let's just say some magical world Harry Potter shit, Alakazam, we all millionaires. black women still have the same behaviors and attitudes, even if we were millionaires. There you go. See how easily I was able to debunk that? I didn't have to use stats or anything, just reality.
Also shown in research that women want to marry on their same level of financial and educational status.
Yeah.
So if you're a black woman making $150,000 a year with a master's degree, you tend to want to marry a black man on that same level.
Okay, I understand where she's coming from now. And I get her point now. Okay, at the tail end, I get it. So what she's saying is actually absolutely correct. So let's say you're a black woman with a master's degree or higher, and you're making close to six figures, if not six figures. You, by proxy of your accomplishments in life, if you want the same caliber of man like yourself, because you are very much accomplished, there's not that many counterparts that are accomplished as you are. To a certain extent, you by being accomplished, you would either have to date down, or you'd have to basically be, to be honest, a lot of women in that like master's degree or higher level, let's just say graduate degree or higher level, and are high earners, highly educated, high earners, you're dealing with basically less than 10% of black men that have those same accolades. So they exist, but there's not that many as far as percentages, because it's not that many black men that are graduate degree holders, and definitely not that make over $100,000. There are some, but there's a small pool at the top, right? So, and then you have to add attitudes and bad behavior to it, weaves, eyelashes, wigs. That's not going to get you that man. I mean, like black men that have, trust me, black men that have graduate degrees and are high earners, they are bougie as fuck. They don't like the whole ghetto. Like what black women don't understand a lot of time, I don't think they understand the weave in the eyelashes and all of that, the extravagant, wild looking nails. That's a ghetto aesthetic. And I've said that for years. That's a ghetto aesthetic. So that ghetto aesthetic, because you like to listen to Nicki Minaj and all, Cardi B and all that, that is ghetto. That is for lower class people. So when you're trying to get higher class men with ghetto aesthetics, you're wondering why no man at the top is looking at you, because they don't want the ghetto aesthetic. They probably left the ghetto and they didn't come back. Or maybe they came back, to get, go to grandma's house in the daytime, to go, over to grandma's house or something like that, or their mama house. Then they left by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. There's over twice as many black men that have that, plus we are much more fit. Yeah, also the weight. I ain't even got to the weight and the kids. A lot of women also, this is another thing that, Sergeant Willie Pete, he just like, he hits the, he talks about it a lot. A lot of black women that have graduate degrees and educated, they already have kids. You can't put the kids back in the, you can't put the kids back in your body. Like, the kids are already there. And for whatever reason, the feminists didn't tell black women, when you go have kids, that's not attractive to men. Like that's way more unattractive than even anything, than the weight, than the looks, the eyelashes and the wigs and all. The kids is definitely a turnoff for most men. And you bring all of that to the table and it's just unattractive, you know, and it's like they don't they're starting, I think the younger women are starting to see that and understand that, but the older women, they already, you know, messed up in the game. They already got like one or two kids by somebody else, and it's just it's double standards, you know. And I didn't make these double standards. These double standards exist. Men can have multiple children, right? They can have children all over the place. As long as they have enough money to take care of the children, the government is going to force the man most likely to take care of the children if the women file child support. So he's mandated by the state to take care of those children financially. And the thing is that overall, it's always going to be women that'll deal with men with children. Not so much for women with children. It just doesn't work like that. Men are considered with children, they're looked at differently than how women with children are looked at. Women with children, men will just go the other way. They probably won't even make eye contact with the woman, right? But a man with children, women are kind of somewhat attractive to that, because I'm not going to say all women, but that women like children. Men don't necessarily want other men's children. It's not attractive. So they come in, you know, they come in with weight, they come in with attitude, bad behavior, and also in many cases, children. Okay, unattractive. It's best for a woman to stay with the man that they've had children with than anything. It's just better, because that's the man that's going to deal with you, because those are his children. And that's what a lot of women don't understand. That's why Kevin Samuels was saying, can you go back to your ex? I mean, because that's the whole thing. Like, that's the only person that's probably going to take care of your children. And then here's another thing. This is kind of dark. What a lot of women don't understand is, and this is biological, this is nature. When you're dealing with other men that are the non-biological father of the children that you have, the risk of those children being killed by that boyfriend or stepfather is very, very high statistically compared to the biological father. So you not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting your children at risk, statistically speaking, because men will off other men's children. That happens. That happens also in nature. You know, I mean, you know, the lion, to take over the pride, and then they kill the cubs of the previous lion, male lion. It just, it happens. So there are always more men who are accomplished. Statistically, there's more women. Okay, there's more women. And then there's more women that will finish college, because men will and this is from, like, I went to college, right? Men will chase pussy in college, then they'll eventually drop out. Then they have financial issues finishing college, and they'll drop out because of that. Just go start working somewhere. Women, they don't have to chase men, so they can kind of bear down on the books. If they even get pregnant, the parents will take care of the children while they go away to school continue on their education, or they'll go home and finish up at, you know, living with their parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just kind of how they do that. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's two types of women. I think the women that wear the ghetto aesthetic stuff, they're looking for Pookies and Ray Rays. They're looking for ghetto men. They're dating ghetto men, so they're dating women dress, or it's two types of women: women that are unaware and women that are aware. The women that are aware, they dress like that because they're attracting those men, the men in the ghetto. Then you got women that just, they game goofy. They, you know, they get with some type of sophisticated woman online and show them how to do their makeup, show them how to dress. Maybe they consult with them. Then they dress more sophisticated, and then they, you know, have a different response, you know, because they just didn't know. Maybe they aunts and their mom was ghetto, and that's all they know is how to just kind of dress ghetto and have the ghetto aesthetic. But I you know, that's just my opinion. I don't necessarily know. Because my sisters, they definitely were dating ghetto men. So that's why they wore the ghetto aesthetic. I think most of the women that wear the ghetto aesthetic are looking for ghetto men. All right. Well, let's look at the stats. I got a little time tonight. So according to data, I basically what I've said is true. Basically Black women graduation rates are higher. See, they even say significantly higher. According to like 2 years ago, 38% of young Black women have earned a college degree, compared to 26% of Black men. Okay, is right there, right there. Just, you know, I ain't even have to use AI or nothing. Just literally right there. Like I said, they have degrees, but here's the issue, you know, with that. Just because you have a degree doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna make money. I know guys right now that have a degree and are actually bums. I myself didn't graduate. I didn't finish. And I've never been a bum with missing teeth and nothing like that. If I had a missing tooth that was noticeable, I would just fucking go to the dentist, get on a payment plan, and give me an implant, or go to Mexico, where it's cheaper. But I know men that are literally bums and they have a degree. I have family members that had a degree and were literally strung out and bums. So the thing is that Black women have the same issue. They have degrees, but they don't make that much. And they have the debt that goes along with those degrees, or going to school, the ones that didn't finish. So they don't out-earn Black men. You got Black men out here that they're electricians. They, you know, did the 4 or 5 years, they became journeymen, and they're making $60 an hour. Overtime, like $80, $90 an hour. With projects, with union projects where it's unlimited overtime. Plumbers making just around the same thing, and they're making money on the side. So they're making $100,000 from their job, plus probably $30,000 or $40,000 in cash, to just beer money. Because who don't need an electrician? Who don't need a plumber? right? Everybody does that owns a home. So like they don't out earn men because men will do certain jobs that they won't do. Men will do jobs like for example, I just found this out today. If you just learned how to repair elevators, elevator technicians are some of the highest paid technicians in America. They make like over $100,000. Most men are elevator technicians. A lot of women have a fear of heights. They would never get in an elevator shaft and try to repair anything. That's just how women are. So they do have higher degrees, but they don't out earn black men. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, one of my homies is an electrician. He helped me with my house. He's a union journeyman. He makes tons of money. This dude made so much money. I ain't put his business out. I don't say who he is, but he bought his house cash. He paid like $50,000 for his house. This was before the real estate bubble. I mean, the real estate cost started rising before 2020. He bought his house 50 bands cash. He literally had $50,000 on deck that he saved and bought his house cash. He bought his house from a old white lady that basically aged out of the home and went to a retirement home. Yeah, I just found that. I mean, I knew they paid. I mean, I could just, that's not surprising that they paid, but I just didn't know. I didn't know how much. I posted on my Facebook page, like literally elevator technicians make more than doctors. That shit crazy. Like literally elevator technicians make more than doctors. I don't know what you got to do to become an elevator technician, but I mean, that shit blew my fucking mind when I heard that. I mean, I'm like going closer to my 50s than my 40s, and I didn't know that shit. If I would have, man, 20 years, go back in the time machine 20 years or longer, man, I'd be trying to be an elevator technician. Because I don't like to be all the way high up in the air, but I've done it before. Shit, I mean, I used to get on the fucking elevator. I mean, not an elevator. I used to get on a roofing ladder to repair cameras, and I used to go up so high. If I fail, I'm dead, or at the very least, I have a permanent limp for the rest of my life. I did that with cable too. I used to work for Comcast. I was a contractor for Comcast for like I don't know, like a few months. Then they shit that, that water, but I didn't do it that long. But I did it. I was up on a ladder and going on the pole, electric pole. And when you're dealing with cable, the electric poles are next to the cable boxes, so you risking getting electrocuted as well. You know what I'm saying? So I did all of that shit. So most women will not do that. They just won't risk that. Whether it pays or not, they won't risk that. But let me finish playing her.
Higher. If Black women are excelling at such an accelerated rate, how do men keep up with that?
I mean, the thing is this. Men date down all the time. you know, and women fuck down. Women don't really date down, they fuck down, you know. And it's like, the thing is, the reason why they don't try to date down is because they don't take the poor guy serious, or the guy that's don't make as much as them serious. And then they, you know, get older, and then the guy that didn't have that much money, he got, you know, wife and kids and shit, and then they, you know, they got their career, you know. And it's like, man, you gotta, at the end of the day, and this is what I would tell my daughter, at the end of the day, man, if you so awesome, you can show this man how to make extra money. Y'all both can make money together. Y'all can start a business. If a woman can make something magnificent, tongue-tied, as magnificent as a baby, she could do damn near anything. I mean, you know, I ain't saying a black woman is God, but I mean, she got God-like qualities. You know, making some money ain't shit compared to making a baby. You know, money ain't shit compared to making a baby. That's why most people will kill you over their kids. They don't give a fuck about no money. They'll kill you over their kids. They'll do life in prison over their kids. So the thing is like, you should be able to help that man make more. You know, y'all both help each other. That's what people do. That's what men and women do. Like, I don't know, you know, I don't know why women choose to just be single and not date men that make less than them. That's pretty much what Ayana. Let's play that clip. It's been a minute. Let's play that clip. Let's go ahead and play that clip. Like, that's perfect. Date a bus driver clip. Oh man, that's appropriate right now. Let's play that clip. It's been a minute.
When some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned. So for as much as when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it, if he owns the bus,
that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society.
Yep. I mean, to a certain extent, I don't expect a woman that's a graduate degree, basically a professional lawyer, to date a bus driver. I said that back then, and I still hold on to it. But the whole point is, I mean, in her case, it's no man that she could date, because it's certain women that just have flaws that they're unable to be with any man. And I would even say, I'm to go even in depth, to go further in the rabbit hole. There's certain zodiacs that of women and men that it's just harder for certain women to date anybody. I'll tell you two signs that I know for a fact have problems with dating men and having relationships with men. One is Virgo women, like she is, Miss. I don't want to date a bus driver, and I can't date anybody. She's been with, like she said, all different types of men, right? And then Aries women, and a lot of it has to do with yielding power. A lot of black women have a problem yielding power, basically being like, a master and a slave dynamic, or a submissive and a dominant. A lot of black women have a problem with being submissive outside of the bedroom. As soon as you take that dick out, they complaining, arguing, fussing, and fighting. They do have problems with that, but it's certain women they can't. It's so flawed as far as their dynamic or their unwillingness to yield to the opposite sex that they'll just rather be by themselves. They're like Siamese fighting fish. They can't be with anybody long term. Outside of sex, they can't be with anybody. Then it's just, as far as a man, it's your job to, exit stage left when you find those women. Get the fuck out of Dodge as fast as you can.
Women are the most unmarried population in the United States. Out of all races and degrees of men, of women, black women are the most unmarried group, okay? One thing I've been seeing happen for many years on social media is that anytime someone is arguing with a black woman on her standards, her dating preferences, any perspective she has on relationships, in an attempt to have an aha moment, it's always said, oh, well, y'all are the most unmarried group. Maybe it's something that y'all are doing. Nobody wants you guys because y'all are hard to deal with. And I want to let you guys know now, that is not the reason. Black women are the most unmarried group of people because they are flat out the most race loyal. Out of all races, out of all genders, black women have the highest rate of marrying and dating in their race. In doing this presents a different set of issues for the average black woman. For the sake of this conversation, let's talk about college-educated black women in general. For starters, the number of college-educated black women that there are in the United States doubles the number of college-educated men. For every 2 black women that are educated, there's only 1 available black man, okay? Out of that already small percentage of black men, some of those men date outside of their race and marry outside of their race, making it even less black men available to date these college-educated women. There are much fewer college-educated men than there are college-educated black women. Then, after you take out the black men that date outside their race, you have to take out the gays. You got to take out the gay black men that have a college education. So now you have this overwhelming number of black women, of college-educated black women, and such a small group of college-educated black men for them to work with and be able to date and marry. Statistics show that the more education that a black woman gets and the higher her income gets, the chances of her getting married decrease. As her education grows and her income grows, the chances of her getting married decrease, okay? When you take a look at the statistics of black women that are married to black men, more than 60% of those black women had to, quote unquote, marry down in order to get married. And the way that the research defines as married down is more than 60% of the time, black women.
Because, they in college it's just it's freak offs. A lot of people, a lot of young people, and I was in part of that myself. I mean, it's a freak off. But the white women, they find a dude in college a lot of times. Not all of them, but they do find that one dude that they stick with them. And they end up getting married. You know, it's almost like a tradition. But black women just basically they graduate. If they do graduate, they like basically, you know, go to corporate America, and then, you know, they it's like they almost continue to freak off for a little while, and then they have to you know, start going to church or go to Africa or Jamaica or somewhere, you know, because it just can't find you know, the guy or whatever. I don't know. They went through too many freaks in America, so they got to go somewhere else. I don't know. You said she's straight up lying. Black women only marry down statistically when they marry white men. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I mean, it is black women that do marry down. Like, I remember this dude, like, it wasn't in my name. It was like across town from me. I remember when I used to live in Dalton, it was this chick that I think she had a daughter that knew my sister or something, or went to school with my sister. She was a nurse and her husband was a truck driver, you know. But it worked out. They was doing good. They had all white Christmas trees in the fucking window and in the house, and they was doing excellent. They was balling. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think it depends. Like, a lot of white women will get with they'll date down. A lot of white women will date down to get with a black man. And then next thing you know, after about 5 or 10 years, he's making just about as much money as she is, if not more. And they doing good. They living in a nice big old house, and they got a bunch of kids, and you know what I'm saying? They do date down. White women date down quite a bit. I've seen it so many times that white women will choose a black man and date down. I'm not saying dating down as far as dating black men is dating down. I'm talking about literally the black man could be unemployed. He could not be working. He could be not making that much, and a white woman will take him serious and take him, you know, kind of help him out. And then next thing you know, he got a stable working environment. He's coming home. He's productive. But a lot of black women will cast those men to the side, or not. You know, they'll probably like have sex with them, but won't take them serious in a sense of pursuing a long-term relationship with that man, because they'll just use him for like a concubine, a male concubine, you know, get a couple nuts off and, you know, have a good time. And then, you know, when it comes down to it long term, they don't take them serious. Okay, you say the numbers I saw fluctuate, but mostly said black men have degrees at 24%, 26%, while black women have them at 28 to 31%. That's a small. See, what you're not understanding, I think, is it's more black women than there are black men. Like, I think it's like it's a million more black women than there are black men. So when you bring up statistics, you got to always keep that in mind, that it's more black women than black men. You know, I think it's more women in general. Like biology, there's more women than men, because I think it's a way of nature always being able to rebalance itself. Like, it's always more women, because so it's something to do with reproduction. Like, I think the male sperm the XY sperm is fast, but it could die out really quick, or it could kind of like absorb all his energy and just kind of fall off. Whereas female sperm, XX sperm, is steady, slower than the male sperm, but it's steady, and it conserves its energy. It's something to do with that. It's always gonna be more women. Like that's another thing. Like people don't understand. That's why I don't get the idea of like dudes that really they act like they got the last woman on the world, because it's more women than men. Like that's why there's polygamy. That's why Africans understood polygamy, because there's always biologically more women than men. Even if all the men were educated, all the women were educated, there'll still be a man shortage because there's more women than men. And what women do, what a lot of Black women are doing now, is they're practicing in almost group reproduction. They're dating, they're having children with a small percentage of men, and those percentage of men have multiple children by different women, because they're picking those men to have children with and avoiding other men that they don't find desirable or whatever, and ending up just being single moms, because a lot of Black women have a problem with polygamy as well. They don't like polygamy. They don't even like a man cheating. A man, I don't know how many times I hear Black women talking about my man cheated. And it's like, you read the Bible, you're supposed to be a Christian. Okay, how many prophets in the Bible had multiple women? Okay, a great man, a great, awesome man, what, he just supposed to be with one woman? Like, how does it work? Like, okay, you mean to tell me I'm this awesome man and I'm just supposed to be with just one woman with all my awesomeness? Like, they don't really understand that. They don't get it. Some of them do, very few of them, but they just don't understand.
Because they prefer to marry Black, it often comes at their detriment, meaning that they marry someone below their education level. A lot of Black women that are college educated are married to Black men that do not have any college education. On top of that, out of the Black women that are married to Black men, 60%, more than 60% of those Black women make more financially than their Black husbands. That's a whole nother topic, but follow me. Let's dial it back a little.
And it's another thing you got to understand, and this goes into behavior, submission primarily. You got Black women that choose financially inferior Black men for the purposes of being more matriarchal, because they have, maybe they have the house in their name, they have all of the financials in their name. They have a matriarchal stronghold the agenda that they push in their relationship, and they purposely crafted that relationship by choosing that inferior man, because they don't want that man, one, leaving them, and then two, they want to have control over the finances. They want to have control over having the final say so and making decisions. So a lot of men are in relationships where they're like a consort, where the woman is more financially powerful than they are, and they are kind of forced to listen to that woman because they hold more power as far as the purse. They might have more power in their purse than they have in their wallet. And you have women that purposely choose inferior men by proxy of trying to control the relationship. So you have that aspect as well. And a lot of women, they don't want to be honest about that as well. That's their little secret. That's their little tea talk that they don't expose or don't want to talk about. They don't want to really listen to black men. So they're avoiding black men that have their stuff together, that are financially powerful, because they know those men are not going to take a woman bossing them around.
So now we're working at about a 1-to-4 ratio. For every one college educated black man, there's about 4 college educated black women that is available to date said man. So now it's creating a man shortage. There's a shortage of quality, as the book defines it. There's a shortage of quality black men to accommodate the high number of quality black women. As the supply for something goes down, the demand for it increases. The same thing goes in the relationship market. If you're in the market for a black man as a black woman, the more black men there are, the less it costs, right? Essentially costs. But the less available quality black men that there are, the more expensive it is to get one, right? Follow me. Black men are aware of the current dating market. They are more than aware that the supply for a quality college educated black man, the supply for that is super low. They know that they have many, many, many options, right? Because they know that they have many options and that there's a shortage of college educated men, they are thus exploring all their options. They're aware that there's a shortage. So they're saying, why would I just settle down with one woman when there's 4 literally fighting for me? That alone significantly adds to the black marriage crisis, or the low numbers in black marriage, because while these...
And this is just a personal side note. I prefer black women that's more Afrocentric. Yep, I really do. Like women that are more Eurocentric, I usually have issues with those women. I really, to be honest, rarely there are black women that are more Afrocentric. Because the women that are Afrocentric, they are all about all aspects of Africa, the African diaspora. They're even into African antiquity, and they understand that they have polygamy in Africa. They understand why they have polygamy, and they are more accepting of that, and it's like, a lot of Eurocentric black women, most black women are Eurocentric. They try to follow what white people do. And I'm not saying that I don't have Eurocentric values myself. I do have some Eurocentric values, but I'm African as fuck. And then here's another thing. White people are literally fucking like having a birth rate problem. And it's like you're still trying to follow them. And yes, she is fucking babbling. I'll probably do maybe another minute or two. Then I'm going to move on to some more babbling females that are highly educated. Then I think that'll be it for tonight.
These men are available. They don't, the available ones, they're getting so much treatment and so much attention. Some of them are. Yeah. They thus don't feel a need to settle down, and they also don't have any desire to settle down when they're getting 4 women competing with each other to win this man over. They're not picking.
She basically talking about Atlanta. That's literally how it is in Atlanta. Like I ain't gonna lie, I've been thinking, my brain has been telling me to go to Atlanta for some years now. I've been before, but I wasn't single when last time I went. But I think I need to go take a weekend trip to Atlanta. It's what my brain has been telling me for years.
Picking one woman. They're just like, you know what? I'm not going to get married because the single life is so good. And I can't even blame them for that. Then you take in all these numbers, and that doesn't even accommodate like that. There's no way to measure like which of these quality black men just has a good attitude or like a good personality. It doesn't account for how many of these black men have children. For those of us that don't want to date men with children, like that is not accounted for. So at most, you are competing with like 4 other women on average to obtain.
If you're looking for a hustle, okay, I'm gonna tell you, if you're looking for a hustle, a bona fide motherfucking like line of income, I mean, I'm talking about something that probably can make you over 100 grand or more. Start a matchmaking business and try to cater to black women. But you're gonna take every type of woman. You're gonna take all kinds. Like, get into matchmaking, because there is a problem, and you can fill that void by being a matchmaker, like literally pairing people off. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm here. The reason why I'm breathing and I'm talking to you is because my mom's friend hooked her up with my father. They was coming out of the masjid. She knew about my father. She introduced my father to my mother, and I exist now. So I've been thinking about doing this, but I'm not really good at dealing with people because I don't have the patience, and I don't really I just don't have the ability to be social enough to deal with people like that, to where I'm gonna be this matchmaker. I think it does take a certain type of individual, and I'm just saying, like, you know, that's a wave if you can do it. Like, if you can get into that, you know, basically charge people a fee to match them up with someone, build up a clientele base, right? And actually even, like, you know, do consultations with women, and like, you know, I'm not just talking about matchmaking. Actually, you probably have to do more. You have to, like, I'm thinking of be like kind of like Kevin Samuels, but you are actually a matchmaker. You gotta have to, like, you know, maybe get a woman, you know, to kind of help you out, you know, to kind of deal with women, you know, and then you'll deal with the men as far as if they like don't know how to dress properly, you know, they don't know how to, you know, you might need to do some like life coaching, and you know, kind of like some like what do they call it? Life coaching and image consulting. Because some of these women, the reason why they can't really like get certain men is because their image is fucked up. Like, even her image is fucked up. She don't know it, but I can see it. I mean, she's an ex-athlete, so she's kind of like a tomboy. So a lot of tomboys, they do have, you know, image issues, you know, and you probably have to do like I said, life coaching. You're gonna have to be more, like, basically you'll have to be a triple threat. If the way I see it, you have to be a matchmaker, a life coach, and an image consultant. And you could probably make, man, I see easy 100 grand or more. I mean, like, you know, build up your client database. You're gonna have to do some marketing. You're gonna have to do a bunch of Instagram, social media, content generation. But the need is there. Now, some of these women, you know, some of the men, they're not gonna be able to get with anybody but a dog. You know, it just is what it is. But it's a lot of women and men that just need, they really don't need a dating app. They need a matchmaker. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You know, so I'm just throwing that as like a bone, you know, for for anybody that's interested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought about it, but I'm busy with all kind of stuff, and I'm just not really, you know, I don't know. I'm just not really interested too much. I'm not 100% on it. I'll just say, just not really 100%. But these women here, I got some like stuff queued up here. And these women are talking about why Black women aren't getting married. So let's go into it. Let's get right into it.
Any connections? We're really excited to speak with you after learning more about you. Chelsea's family's Trinidadian, my family's Caribbean, my boyfriend's Jamaican. So we're just overlapping with the cultures and the connections today. We had heard about you and dug into this podcast on The Weeds. It was entitled Why the Marriage Rate is Falling Faster for Some. And we knew immediately we wanted to have you on the show because if you're listening and you're unsure about who that marriage rate is falling for, it is for Black women in America. So your first public-facing book, titled Black Women, Black Love, explores the structural forces that across 4 centuries have made coupling and marriage difficult, delayed, or impossible for millions of Black women in the United States, and reveals how white supremacy has systemically broken the heart of Black America. So that's a mouthful, and there's so much to say there. I'd love if you could expound on that for us.
I'd love to. In fact, that first part of what you read there is what I named. I felt that this needed to be named Forbidden Black Love. That's how I define it. We are living with, we are at the end of the tail end, and it's still continuing, of a 4-century experience of forbidden Black love. It begins on the African continent with the slave trade. Just imagine, we're never ever encouraged to imagine how our intimate lives are deeply affected by the slave trade and slavery. We think of rape, but of women of African descent. That's about as far as we typically take it. We don't even think of the rape of boys and men, which also happened. But we think of rape of women and adolescent girls. But when we really think about it, just think about the disruption that the slave trade caused to marital homes, to families, to couples on the continent itself. And so for me, Forbidden Black Love begins there. And it continues in the Americas, and I'm particularly speaking of North America, continues in this North American experience till this very day. So that's how I define it. Literally, the systems and structures that make coupling and marriage difficult, delayed, or impossible for millions of Black people, particularly women. And so I came upon this topic, and I felt that I needed to write about it because I couldn't find a book that addressed it. I couldn't find any one place I could go to truly talk about these issues from a structural and a systemic standpoint. We talk about love and marriage woes, and I enjoy it too. I love talking about it from the personal, the intimate side. It's fun, it's dramatic, it's cute, it's playful, it's flirtatious to think about all the different things you can do, strategies one can take to make love more exciting, more enduring, more. We do that. It is a very intimate, personal thing. We experience relationships interpersonally, but we have to think beyond that scope and understand that no matter how much we discuss this issue as a personal issue for Black women, we are never, ever going to get at the underlying factors, which are systemic and structural. So I'll just end this, response by saying this.
Yeah, they do a lot of like I do understand that the splitting between Black men and Black women is a psyop. It's a organized propagandized effort. I do understand that. I talked about that. But to a certain degree, also, the Black woman's behavior is a problem that Black women don't want to address. They don't want to talk about that. They run from that whenever you have a conversation. And it's like, you know, nature, it shows you, like, and you got some Black men, and I understand why they feel like this. Black men, you got a certain segment of Black men, they want this shit to just go to rubble. They want this shit to go like to Mad Max and just on some sci-fi shit, to where ain't nobody, money is worthless, and it's just, you know, a savage life, savage world, because they know Black women wouldn't act like this. Any woman wouldn't act like the way they act, because a lot of the times, and I said this before, a lot of women in general are just spoiled. A lot of American women are spoiled. They're spoiled as fuck. And they also are very entitled. You know, they believe, it's some women they're so out of their mind, their actions are suicidal. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. You probably already know where I'm going with this. You got women that'll go out and they'll argue with strangers, and also men. And you don't understand, like, you don't argue with strangers. You're not supposed to argue with strangers. You're not supposed to argue with men that you don't know. You really ain't even supposed to argue with men, to be honest, because it's men like myself. I mean, literally, I can kill a person with my bare hands. I'm trained to do so. I did jujitsu for almost 3 years. Even before jujitsu, I could beat the shit out of. I done had plenty of fights. I mean, I done fought strong fucking men. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying, and live to tell about it. Like, women will literally argue with men in the street, like it's as if they can beat their ass. And, you know, propaganda does push this in movies and TV shows. They got women beating up men and all that, but that's just not how that goes. I would never train my daughters or tell my daughters to go out and yell at men or argue with men and all that. Like, you know, no, you were born a woman. It just is what it is. It's pros to this and it's cons to it. One of the cons is, no, you cannot beat up no man. Don't even think about it. The best way you can beat up a man is you make sure you have a man for protection. And the thing is like, yeah, a lot of Black men want this shit to just go to rubble, because they tired of these entitled women that don't understand that men pretty much hold other men at bay for you to live the life that you live. Like, look at Iran. People don't even know what the fuck is going on with Iran right now. There ain't no media coverage on Iran. You have to really, really go in the depths in the weeds to really find media coverage. Like right now, I already know what's going on, because I've been in the military and I know how the U.S. operates. They're doing bombing. They're doing 24-hour fucking 24/7 bombing campaigns on Iran right now. And it ain't just the Americans. You got the entire European Union. You got other countries that are joining in on nonstop bombing campaigns. I mean, yeah, Iran is bombing other countries as well, including Israel. But you got to understand, they're bombing the missile sites, the launch sites as we speak. After a while, it ain't gonna be, Iran ain't gonna have no bombs to be able to bomb because they're gonna bomb all of them. And you gotta understand, in that society, the women know that the men are there and what they're there for. Women in this country, in the United States, they haven't never dealt with that. They never had to deal with any foreign invaders that could possibly put harm to them, that they can, basically R-word them at any given, any given time. Like basically the barbarians at the gate. Like, they never dealt with that. So they don't think like, oh man, they don't really, they don't value men because they don't, in their world, their worldview, men are optional. And two, they don't have any reason to value men. They got money, they have the cloak of protection. Some of the smartest women, they got a snub nose in their purse or a Glock in their purse because they want to be protected. That is the best way. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's for, anybody, because that's, that's what people have. Well, that's the weapon of choice, firearm. But you got women that they're still feminine to the point where they don't believe in tools and guns and shit like that. They don't want to be involved in that. Some women are crazy and they know they're crazy, so they don't have a gun because they know they're liable to shoot anybody. So they know they don't want no gun. But the thing is like, they want this shit to go to rubble because they know women will fucking definitely, they immediately will need, the value of men will go up substantially for one, and then two, they wouldn't be acting the way they are now. They just wouldn't be acting this way.
I identified 4. There are probably many, but I saw themes across history that I kind of grouped under 4 major kind of pillars of forbidden Black love. So the first is the separation of Black marriages and families. And of course, I said that starts on the African continent. The second is racist, sexist jurisprudence, policies, and legal transactions. And by racist, sexist, that's a hyphenated word. We experience racism in our bodies as gendered women or gendered girls, and so do men and boys. So racist, sexist, to me, it goes together. And it means that we're experiencing racism because of our gender in very distinct ways. And I can say a little bit more about that. But that's number 2. Number 3 will not be a surprise: sexual and reproductive violence and control. And number 4, which is related to number 3, and when thinking about the slave trade and the slave period, is colorism and phenotypic stratification. So colorism is a form of phenotypic stratification, but we're so used to only talking about colorism. We don't often talk about other aspects of phenotypic stratification, the shapes of our faces, our lips, our nose, our
like featureism.
That's right. The textures of our hair, phenotypic features, believe it or not, is one of those pillars of forbidden Black love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we delve more into the second one? I feel like that one, I would like to learn more.
Absolutely. So, what I'm really talking about here, and it's in many respects related to a nation whose ideas about marriage, about coupling, about family building, are.
Let's sift through this shit here. Let's go out. Let me see what she's talking about here.
Addressing, halting, reversing this long trajectory, this 4 centuries long trajectory of inherited wealthlessness and poverty in Black communities. And that's something that shocked me. I did not expect to leave working on this book making such a recommendation. I really didn't. I did not think, I think as deeply enough about how profoundly a lack of wealth impacts whether Black people are marrying or not. But it clearly does. So that's one. The second is, and this is a hard one because I think the state needs this more than anything, but the state, the government would have to, at the federal and local levels, would have to commit itself to understanding that this perspective has been undermining Black women and Black families for centuries. Dismantling the patriarchal nuclear idealization, I should say, of the patriarchal nuclear family structure, marriage and family structure, that is harming us on more than one level. I argue, absolutely harming us on more than one level. And it works its way into government policies. One of the main reasons that the Moynihan Report was so harmful, it was racist, sexist, right? That racist hyphen sexist that I talk about. It was so sexist because of the patriarchal underpinnings of how marriage and family are normatively arranged in Euro-Western cultures, and particularly in the United States. And so I can say more about that, but that's number two, really addressing this idolization of the patriarchal nuclear family that has harmed Black folks for centuries. And then number three, the third one.
What? What the fuck?
This one. What?
Huh? What the? What the? I'm like, what the hell is she talking about, man?
Is truly taking on how in aggressive and expansive ways, colorism and phenotypic stratification. I mean, Black women.
See, other Black women allow this word salad garbage to be portrayed, because it's like, I just, what I'm saying, if I was on the show, I would need more clarification, one, and two, I would definitely need more clarification, and I would be definitely pushing back. Yeah, it's the academy. This is academy corporate talk. That's how they talk. They talk like, the academy English and corporate English. That's what they talking. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what she's, but she's babbling about absolutely nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing, but she's babbling in circles and not talking about, like, I mean, she's basically like, rambling on, like, kind of what Sergeant Willie Pete be talking about, like, just talking about absolutely nothing, colorism and this and that and the patriarchy and all that. I mean, the way this country is going, it's going to be women that wish there was a patriarchy. The way that this country is going right now, like, they're going to absolutely, it's going to be women that's just they're going to be dreaming of patriarchy. Because it's going down. It's not going up, it's going down. This country is going down. It ain't progressing, it's digressing.
Who are fair-skinned are twice as likely to marry up to the age of 30. It gets a little better after 30, but slowly so. Twice as likely to marry than Black women who are dark complexion, and 17% more likely to marry than Black women who are medium complexion. This is a real issue in our communities. Colorism does impact marriage outcomes for Black women, and fair complexion Black women, ambiguous looking Black women, are often able to marry men at the same socioeconomic status that they have at higher rates than dark complexioned Black women. So those are three that I point out. And in the book, I actually talk about Dr. Derek Hamilton.
I ain't never heard that colorism, that there's more dark-skinned women that are unmarried than light-skinned. I ain't never heard. I don't know. I never heard no shit like that. Like, I don't know. It might be true. I don't know. I have never fucking like researched that. It doesn't matter. Like, in my experience, most Black women are scared to have children, and two, they particular also about getting married. Now, I'm saying the women that are educated and high earners, you know, or even just middle class earners, like, they are particular about those two things. And I'm talking about light skin, because I don't just date light skinned women. I've dated light skinned women. I've dated dark skinned women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I dated all of them. Like, middle, brown skin, light skin, dark skin. I dated all of them. They all act the same in a sense. Not all of them, but most of them are, like I said, most of them are scared to have children. Especially the ones that are younger, like in their early 30s or late 20s, and then their you know, marriage is like, you know, so a lot of Black women are scared to get married because they already they got like some assets, they got money, they scared to marry someone, and then they gotta pay alimony or gotta split assets and all of that type of stuff. Like, so you got that, man. That's my experience, and I know I'm not the only one.
He's an economist at the New School. I talk about his baby bonds as an example to address, for example, the inherited wealthlessness and poverty. You know, sometimes people think, oh, there's nothing we can do. It's too big. No, there are things we can do. There are many things we can do. And I use his program, which is getting more traction out there, and certain states are beginning to implement it, as one example, just one thing that can be done to begin to shape the lives of Black individuals and couples differently.
So I'm not aware of his program. What is his program? What is it doing?
What I love about the program, about baby bonds, he proposes, in many respects, someone could say, oh, this is like a reparations program, but it's not. You know, so he designed it in such a way that no one can just say that and dismiss it, even though I do talk about reparations as well, because I think that needs to always be pursued. But he proposed that the United States government reform its tax laws and the way it, you know, collects taxes and fund it this way through tax dollars. So he proposed that every child upon birth in the United States gets an investment, a monetary investment from the U.S. government, like a trust that is set up for that child. And this is the catch: it's based on the wealth of the family. That is powerful. So a child who's born into a wealthy family, like a Kennedy descendant, might get $10. Whereas a child that is born to a family whose ancestors were enslaved in this country, or a Native American family who's been dislocated and marginalized on reservations, and whose family are making poverty, you know, salaries at the poverty level or slightly above or what have you, might get $20,000 at birth. And that money is invested and held for the child, and that they can then have access to as a young adult to either, you know.
What does that got to do with fucking marriage rates of Black women? Okay. Let me see here. Let's see here.
And that's why I always said, you know, this American way where you're just all up on one another and hand holding, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, I always felt like, can I just get something right down the middle? Can I get some of what we do and some of what I see in like these African, particularly in my case, it was Nigerian context, because I think they both have something to teach us about what we need as human beings, right? And what I've learned from biological anthropologists and neurochemists is that the reason our brains are built the way they are, and the hormones that make up love, the hormones that work in love and relationships, is because we need to be able to bond and attach to one another as couples, evolutionarily speaking, for a long enough period to raise a child into adulthood pro-socially, so that child can now have children and raise their child. Our species just takes about like 16 to 20 years, like 8, you know, to kind of make that happen. And so our hormones work to make that happen, work to make us get attached to people, to focus in on that one person, so that we can stay there and raise those children into adulthood so that they can continue the life cycle, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of things that I've learned, even about the neurochemistry of the brain and love, that makes me feel like we need a beautiful balance of the two. And to understand that at certain points in the life of a relationship, especially the brain, the chemicals and how they operate in the brain can actually make the more match made.
Oh my God, I can't deal with no more of this. I can't. I mean, I was trying to find some type of synopsis with that content, but I wasn't able to get it. I mean, you know, circular conversations, circular accountability, you know. Yeah. But yeah. I guess to just answer this question, Black women are the least married because of black men. No. I don't think Black men are the reason why Black women don't want to get married, or no, that are the reason why Black women are not married. I don't think it's because of Black men. No, that doesn't even make sense, because basically, if you really wanted to get married, you would be married. I mean, you know, it's really as simple as that. If you wanted to get married, you know, as men out here that could get to at least, I mean, it might not be what you're looking for, as far as it might not be your cup of tea or whatever, but if that's really what you wanted to get married, you can, you know, as guys, the guy that you friend zone back in 1995, he's still single. The guy that you friend zone back in 2005, he's still single. You don't, for whatever reason, want that guy, and he's, you know, that's that. And it's a bunch of guys that you don't want. And that's why you're not married. It's just like that. It's not because of Black men, it's because of your choices in men, your thoughts about men. You know, that's why you're not married or whatever, because you don't want to be married. You want a particular type of maybe fairy tale romantic outcome or some shit like that, and it ain't happening. It might not never happen. And that idea that you're holding on to And then it's not like it's some women that are celibate. Most women are just like, they're just hopping from one penis to another. And when you hopping on one penis to another, that doesn't help you get married. That helps you get pregnant. That helps you make babies, but that don't help you get married. Okay? Because in general, why buy the cow when you can have the milk for free? I mean, in general, like, you know, I know that's old, that's kind of cliche, right? But it's true. Like, why would anybody want to commit when they can just get, you know, they can keep getting it. They can get everything that they want, which most men, what they want is just, you know, they just want some good pussy. They want some good head and pussy and good times, and they don't really want to argue, fuss, and fight to actually get it. And you know, some men will value that and marry the woman, or they'll value the relationship and marry the woman. But the thing is like, at the end of the day, if you really wanted to be married, like, for example, I really want to be a millionaire, right? What am I doing? I'm doing what I can do to try to be a millionaire. I'm actually taking actions to try to be a millionaire. I actually want that. I genuinely, truly want that. So will I get it? I don't know. But the thing is I'm taking actions and I'm serious about trying to get to that level. You know, I'm not making excuses. I'm not trying to, you know, fuck my way to $1 million. You know, none of that. I'm actively, proactively, one day at a time, trying to achieve that outcome. You know, and a lot of women, they don't really value that outcome. They don't care about that outcome, whether marriage is needed now or not. They don't value it. If you wanted something, you first value it, and then you go out and you take the steps to get that what you value. If you don't value it, you ain't gonna get it. So just because you don't value marriage, just because you don't value black men or whatever, or men in general or whatever, because it's not like, see, here's the thing, right? Black men, when they deal with black women, they can't get married. They can get married. If they don't deal with black women, they can still get married. Black women can't necessarily do that. They can't just go outside. They having hard times marrying black men because they got issues and behaviors that are counterproductive to any man wanting to be with them, such as, you know, they got a lot of subprime behaviors like this, for example. And those behaviors exclude them from any man. No man on earth wants to really deal with a subprime woman if they had to choose. They don't want to deal with that. So they can't necessarily market themselves to non-black men, because non-black men, you know, they'll take the pussy. Thank you. Appreciate it. But they're not going to marry them. You know, they have very low interracial marriage rates because, you know, men actually do have to marry women. Men have to ask women to marry them. And men are not asking, you know, in many regards, black women to marry them. Right, exactly. So, I mean, you know, this is comedy. You know, this is 2 hours of comedy for the most part, entertainment. That's what I said earlier. Get your popcorn, get you a cider, get you a beverage, and enjoy the show. Because basically, that post on Twitter that went, you know, it kind of went viral. It's comedy. You know, it's very much so their problem of that their behavior puts them in a box that nobody really wants unless they're giving them some head and some pussy. I know I'm being very I'm not being very corporate in my language and conversation, but I'm just saying it how it is. I mean, the thing is like I think if Black women if they do one thing, embrace reality more. Embrace reality. If you embrace reality, I think you can deal with reality more if you can embrace it. I'm fucked up. I saw the Broke Genius. He showed this slideshow on the subprime, and I'm definitely a subprime bitch. What should I do about this? Well, I mean, you could actually, believe it or not, here's the funny thing, right? This is how easy life is, right? I'm not a trained therapist. I actually went to school to be a therapist, right? They can actually reach out to me and I can actually help them. That's the funny part. That's one. I know they're not going to do that, right? You know what I'm saying? They're not going to reach out to me. It's that damn simple. Like, they just reach out. You could reach out. BGS will probably try to help you out. There's a lot of men that could try to help you out. Even other women are probably most likely capable of helping you out, right? Because you gotta reach out to someone because it's like people, they get stuck in their friend groups. A lot of women have friend groups based off of yes women. Like I seen this from my sisters. They have yes women. She lived and died with yes women around her, and all them yes women that I was Facebook friends with, I left them all alone because I mean eventually they just was fake and annoying, and my sister was their friend. I wouldn't and they wouldn't give me no head and pussy, so fuck am I going why bother? You know what I'm saying? That was an easy choice. But the thing is this: being accountable and embracing reality and taking the measures, because you're gonna have to pay your way out of this shit. Any problems that you have in life, my problems, I have to pay for. Everybody has problems and they have to pay for it. They have to pay for their problems. That's what life is called. You got to pay your way through this life. And if you got problems, you got to pay to deal with those problems. Yes, you got to pay somebody to fucking help you, to talk to you, to address your problems. If you can go seek a therapist or whatever, find a psychologist, whatever, cool. But you do definitely got to reach out to somebody because you fucked up. You lost your way between infancy and adulthood. You just got fucked up in every which way as possible. So you do have problems. You do have legitimate problems, right? And those problems, you're dealing with them by yourself. I mean, I'm not saying it's not impossible to do. You can address them by yourself, but most people are going to need somebody to help them out, or at least show them the way, give them some pointers. I mean, I'll definitely say some of y'all probably will need some fucking magic mushrooms. You're going to need to do a couple magic mushroom trips because you fucked up in the head. And magic mushrooms kind of, from what I never did magic mushrooms, but from what I've heard about it, and I did research on it, quite a bit of research on it, it does help with certain cognitive brain issues, mental issues, magic psilocybin mushrooms. Okay. You're gonna need to kind of do some dark work or shadow work, right? You will need that. I definitely see that in your future, if not nothing else. And just need a whole life overhaul, an entire life overhaul. Like, women like doing makeovers. Well, that's the external. You're going to need an internal makeover. Start going to the gym, start walking, and really dealing with the reality, however bad or good it is or whatever. Just got to deal with it. And then you dealing with that reality, guess what? You might start really looking at things how they actually are. And maybe you might start appreciating men and start learning to shut the fuck up a lot more than you do. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of the talking, it doesn't, someone did not teach you, or you didn't listen, that you was supposed to shut the fuck up more than you do. So yeah, you do need help. Definitely need help. You need help outside yourself, most likely. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you are dealing with propaganda. The whole overall elite plan is for Black men and women to be separate from themselves. Marriage is equals power. Marriage is power. Okay. This is, right here. Okay. Right here. Okay. That statistic, it's right there. Okay. The thing is that it's just not, being single is just not good. Being long-term, perpetually single is not a good idea in life. And just because you got somebody that's fucking on you, that doesn't mean that you're in a long-term relationship. That just means somebody likes your pussy enough to keep having sex with you. So at the end of the day, no, it's not Black men's fault because you're not married. It's your fault. Because basically, if you really literally coveted marriage, you would treat it like it was precious, and you'd be on your knees begging the right man, or you don't even have to beg. You'll be doing everything it takes, and you'll be, basically, if men are the gateway to marriage, you'll be listening to men. You'll be damn near fucking, all eyes and ears and pocketbook, trying to zero into men to learn how to please the man that you want to marry. I mean, that's just how I see it. Because I mean, you want to be married. I already been married. Okay, in case you didn't know, I already been married. Okay, so I ain't talking about some shit that I don't have any experience in. All right, so it's very easy to get married. Hard to stay married, hard to have a good marriage. In order to have a good marriage, you have to have a good relationship first. Every good marriage starts with a good relationship. If the relationship ain't good, don't get married. I can just tell you that. If you want to avoid divorce, if the relationship ain't good, definitely 9 times out of 10, the marriage is not going to be good either. Okay, so you can avoid. If nobody told you anything, I told you, and I've been there. I have experience. So that's all I have for you. Do the look at yourself, look at the woman in the mirror, and do the work. It's a problem that you have, and then it's problems that are surrounded by you. It's external problems. Like I said, it is propaganda that does not want black men and women to be married. I will admit to that. I've said that. Secondly, it's internal issues with your behavior and how you think. You know, maybe you have some worms in your brain. You need some detox. That's very, very possible. You know, but yeah, it's a lot of work that needs to be done because yes, you do have a problem. There is a problem that needs to be addressed. And it's your problem. Okay. So that's all I have for you. Have a good night.
I don't know if people are aware of this, but the most important decision you will ever make in your life after choosing to believe in God is the mate you choose to spend the rest of your life with. Your mate will either inspire you to grow into your greatness or they'll confine you to complacency. They'll either be your other half or they'll make you half of yourself. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, like, a good relationship will make you more youthful and bring out the best in you, and a bad one will age you prematurely and bring out the worst. So choose wisely.